What is up, Raider Nation? I'm your host, Some More Raider, and now I know I'm putting out this video late at night, but that's besides the point. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get right into your Nation News.
And you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Now, before I do get started with this video, I want to give a shout out to my boy Johnny over at OneNationFanwear.com for hooking your boy up with this dope new cap. So if you guys want to rock some gear like this or even a t-shirt like this, then head over to OneNationFanwear.com. And if this is the first time you're coming across my channel and you love the Las Vegas Raiders and One Daily Raider content, then look no further. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. So with that being said, first things first, the Raiders have released veteran cornerback Nevin Lawson. The team is hoping that he clears waivers so they could possibly bring him back onto the practice squad. Not only that, the Raiders made another move by signing quarterback Kyle Slaughter to the practice squad. Now with Marcus Mariota on a short-term IR and Derek Carr being questionable in this week's game, I think that this is most likely an insurance type of move for the Raiders if anything was to happen. Knock on wood. And speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk about our quarterback Derek Carr being questionable for this week's game. Now, John Gruden came out in his presser and said that Carr is feeling good and thinks that he will most likely be playing in this week's game, but is ruled questionable. It will all depend on how this week's practice goes, but if you were to ask me, I'm pretty sure our quarterback Derek Carr will play this week against those Miami Dolphins. In other injury news, our running back Josh Jacobs is day-to-day with a toe/ankle injury. Jacobs is ruled very questionable to play in this week's matchup. Now, I am not too worried if Josh Jacobs plays or doesn't play in this week's game because I do have a lot of confidence in Kenyon Drake and Peyton Barber to at least get the job done out there. I know we didn't rush real well in the last week's game. We didn't even break 100 yards rushing, but, you know, using our running backs in the air, you know, with Kenyon Drake, I think we'll be just fine. But at the end of the day, I do hope that Josh Jacobs gets to 100% and hopefully we can see him sometime soon. And last up on the injury report, Alex Leatherwood is also questionable for this week's game with the back strain. Leatherwood left last Sunday's game early. He didn't really have a good game to start with, but I do hope that he does get better. If he's unable to go, look for Brandon Parker to start in this week's matchup versus the Dolphins. With that being said, our offensive line depth is starting to get smaller and smaller each and every week, but no worries. The Raiders went out and signed offensive tackle Jackson Barton off of the Giants practice squad. Barton, just 26 years old, was a 7th round pick in 2019 by the Indianapolis Colts. He was waived during the season and spent the 2019 season on the Chiefs practice squad. Barton ended up signing with the Giants in 2020 and spent the season on their team's practice squad. In 2 preseason games this year, Barton has played 62 snaps, allowed 2 QB pressures, 1 sack, and a QB hit. Now, I'm not saying that this guy is the answer, but knowing how much depth that we do need at the offensive line, anything helps. Now in some other news, let's talk about our linebacker Corey Littleton. Now after 2 weeks into the season, the Raiders are slowly coming down with the injury bug. And what better way to fix that than by clearing up some cap space? According to Phil Yates, he tweeted, the Raiders converted $4.25 million of Corey Littleton's base salary into a roster bonus, creating $3.4 million in cap space. Now that does mean that Littleton now has a cap number over $15 million in 2022. So Littleton most likely will be on the team next year no matter how well he plays this season. Honestly, I'm not too worried about that, especially with Gus Bradley as our defensive coordinator. I do believe that Corey Littleton is going to have a much better season this year than he did last season, so we'll be okay, and I wouldn't mind having him on the team for another year. My biggest question with this news is, who will the Raiders end up bringing in, or who will the Raiders go out and trade for? You know, with all this cap room that we did save and with the injuries that we do have at multiple positions, I'm pretty sure that the Raiders are going to make another big move, whether we sign a free agent or go out and trade for another player. I mean, it worked out for us, you know, getting Denzel Perriman and even clearing up some cap space to bring in KJ Wright. Our linebacker core right now is pretty solid. So Raider Nation, if you guys have any thought or any suggestions on who you think the Raiders will bring in with this, you know, with this added money, let me know down in the comments below. Now, I do want to give some shout outs to a couple of Raiders out there that have been balling out so far this season. You know, we are one of the most underrated teams so far in the NFL. A lot of people did not see us being here, but I want to give some shout outs to some players that, you know, are having some really good accomplishments so far 2 weeks into the season. First up, I want to shout out our quarterback, Derek Carr, being the #1 passing leader in the NFL right now. In 2 weeks, he has over 800 yards with 817 217 yards just to be exact. Not only that, moving on to the defensive side of the ball, our newly acquired linebacker, Denzel Perriman, is third in tackles with 22 total tackles so far in these 2 weeks of the NFL season. Not only that, I do gotta give a shout out to the Condor, Mad Max Crosby, for leading the league in total pressures with 19. And last but not least, I wanna give a shout out to our newly acquired veteran cornerback, Casey Hayward, for having the PFF's highest coverage grade of 90.2. Now tell me your defense is good without telling me your defense is good, right? Last up, I do wanna say, put some damn respect on the Las Vegas Raiders name. Now, I've seen some power rankings out there from the big sports, the big sports sites and whatnot, and they kind of had me baffled because I'm like, damn, no matter how good we looked out there, we still ain't getting the respect by a lot of these guys. It's kind of crazy to me because nobody expected this Raiders team to go out there and be a 2-0, especially against two teams that were in the playoffs last year, two highly anticipated teams to do well this season. We whipped their candy asses week 1 and week 2, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. No one's seen us going 2-0, and the fact that most of these guys are really downplaying our victories is beyond me. And let's start off with NFL.com. They have the Raiders outside of the top 10 at number 11. Now, previously they were at number 18, so they moved up a couple of spots, but the fact that we're not in the top 10 is beyond me. This is what they had to say on their website. Impressive wins over the Ravens and Steelers to start the season is quite a statement of intent by John Gruden's Raiders. The offense, led by Derek Carr and featuring big contributors from Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs, and Hunter Renfrow, has played up to its potential. But it's the defense that's been a true revelation thus far. It starts up front where Mad Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue are blowing up game plans. Through 2 weeks, Crosby led the NFL with 15 pressures per next-gen stats, while Ngakoue has 11. We'll see if this is sustainable, but Gus Bradley might have the scheme and personnel to change how we look at this team. So with that whole explanation, you still telling me that you have the Raiders outside of the top 10? Man, out of here. It's kind of crazy because look at this. They have the Browns at number 8, who lost to the Chiefs. They choked away against the Chiefs and barely beat the Texans. So what the f? Are you serious? 2, they have the Niners at number 7. They beat the Eagles and the Lions. 2 non-playoff teams from last year. Not only that, you got the Packers at number 6, who got blown out by the Saints in week 1, and they beat the Lions in week 2. Again, they are not a playoff team from last year, and you're telling me that they're ranked at number 6? And it doesn't even stop there, Raider Nation. The Bills at number 5, who lost to the Steelers. I mean, we whooped the Steelers' ass, and they beat the Dolphins, who's not even a top-tier team in the NFL. I mean, their defense is solid, but come on now. And the funniest one to me is that they got the Baltimore Ravens up at number 3. You telling me the Baltimore Ravens, who we beat in overtime last week, who barely even beat the Chiefs this week, you put them at number 3? And you're telling me you can't even put the Raiders into the top 10? Oh my goodness. Raider Nation, I still got more to tell you guys because damn, Bleacher Report even had more disrespect, having the Raiders at number 15. 15? They were previously at number 23. I know they moved them up a couple of spots as well, but listen to what they had to say as well. Break up the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders may be the NFL's most surprising team over the first 2 weeks of the 2021 season. They've opened up wins over a pair of teams that made the postseason last year. The biggest surprise has to be the play of quarterback Derek Carr. He's played at an MVP level so far, and he did so against 2 of the league's better defenses. Against the Baltimore Ravens in week 1, Carr threw for 435 yards and 2 scores. He followed that performance with 382 yards and 2 scores against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Raiders have a chance to maintain this momentum moving forward. Only one of their next 6 opponents made the playoffs last year, and that was the Chicago Bears team that went 8-8. So you would think after that explanation, they would put the Raiders in the top 10. No. We're at number 15. But you know what teams they put over the Raiders? The Steelers, who we just beat. The Packers, who I just told you beat the Lions and lost to the Saints. The Broncos, they beat 2 Mickey Mouse teams out there and they put the Broncos over us. The 49ers, who beat the Lions and the Eagles, non-playoff teams. The Chargers, who just lost to the Cowgirls. The Buffalo Bills again. The Browns, the Ravens, who we whooped in week 1, They got all those teams above the Raiders. Oh my gosh, it's getting out of hand. I'm telling you, the disrespect. It's like they want to praise us, but still don't want to put us up there because they're like, you know, I don't know if they're that team, but look, we beat 2 playoff teams, 2 teams with good defenses out there. Our offense looked good. Our defense looks good. So why aren't we ranked in the top 10? Man, after looking at those rankings, man, I was really heated. But shout out to ESPN. They at least had us at number 10, you know, previously at number 19. And this is what they had to say. Sure, quarterbacks are valuable players in fantasy, but with the patchwork offensive line that needed even more duct tape in Pittsburgh, who could have seen Carr's production coming? All he has done is pass for a franchise record 817 yards through the first 2 games of the season and go for 4 touchdowns. And he is just the 4th player in NFL history with at least 380 yards passing and multiple TD passes in each of his team's first 2 games of the season, along with Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, I'm gonna cut him some slack, but they have the Ravens, the Browns, the Bills, and the Niners ranked above us. I'm really surprised why the Niners are ranked so high, because they've been ranked in the top 5 in a couple of these rankings. The Raiders are at 10th or 15th, which is, what the fuck, man? It still surprises me, man. But shout out to Yahoo Sports. They had us in the top 10 at number 7. And this is what they had to say. When we hear so-and-so is the most underrated player, they're usually not underrated at all, just under the radar for whatever reason. Derek Carr really is underrated. He keeps playing good, solid football, and he's off to a fantastic start this season. He's much lower on those quarterback ranking lists than deserved. It's time to give Carr some long overdue credit. Thank you, Yahoo. At least somebody said it. You know, Derek Carr has not been getting that respect that he's earned over the past couple of years, and now with a really reliable defense so far, he's been looking lights out there. Again, I still got a question why they put the San Francisco 49ers at number 2, you know, the Lions and the Eagles, come on, man. And last but not least, CBS Sports put the Raiders at number 8, you know, so shout out to Yahoo Sports, ESPN, and CBS for at least putting us in the top 10. I don't care what anybody else says, the Raiders are going to show a lot of people what's up this year, you know. And with Gus Bradley as our new defensive coordinator, I've been telling you guys over and over and over again, man, if this Raiders defense can be top 20, the sky's the limit, especially with Derek Carr. He has never had a top 20 defense in his whole career, and the best that he's ever had was number 20 in 2016. And the Raiders right now is ranked number 10, which, man, that's kind of new to see. Hopefully we could keep, you know, building on that these coming weeks. I would say that this week's matchup against the Miami Dolphins is going to be the most critical game for the Raiders this season. The reason being, you know, even though we had 2 tough matchups these past 2 weeks and we overcame those victories, the biggest test for the Raiders isn't winning games against, you know, being underdogs. It's winning games when we're the favorites. And you know, for the past couple of years, you know, when we're riding high, when we're feeling good, that's when bam, reality just hits us and we're like, damn, where did that come from? Last season with the Atlanta Falcons, nobody saw us losing that game and we got blown the fuck out. A couple of years ago against the Washington football team, we went into that game thinking, oh man, we got this game, and we got our asses kicked. So going into this Miami Dolphins game, even if they don't have Tua Tagovailoa out there or some of their weapons missing, we got to go into this game and prove that going in as favorites, we can still go out there and win the game no matter what. So with that being said, Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think about today's Nation news down in the comments below. All right, Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys today on this video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button. If this is the first time you're coming across my channel, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. Until the next video, this your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is yeah.
And you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.